There can only be one. Only one person who can gaze upon the earth and say, I am the best in the world. Today, along this court, we ask and answer the rarest of questions. Who will be the one? Will it be the wildly talented but unpredictable Tony Smith? On any given day, the former MVP can be so spectacular, he borders on being unbeatable. Or will it be Erick Davis, a player who hits shots so miraculous, he's known as the Magician? Can the teenager, Ethan Walker, resist his urge to always go for it and show enough discipline to win the biggest game on the biggest stage? Or will Trey Burchfield accomplish the unprecedented and win his second world championship in 24 hours? A feat so epic, it might just make him the greatest of all time. Of the 50 million people who play cornhole around the world, only 4 remain. The right to call yourself the best in the world. The right to call yourself the one. This is the World Championship of Cornhole. Because there can be only one. Goes way up top and hits it! What? He knows it, goes up top and hits it! What a shot! Ticket to the championship and Graham hits it! What a shot! We welcome you to Rock Hill, South Carolina and the ACL World Championships presented by Overstock. Over 2,000 players from all 50 states and around the globe have gathered here on a quest for a world title and almost $1 million in prize money. And today, the biggest 2 weeks in the sport to cornhole concludes with the one we've been waiting for, the World Singles Championship. Well, the best players in the world went through a grueling qualifier that included 600 matches and over 100,000 bags thrown. But we're now down to our Final 4, and they include some of the best and most intriguing players in the game. So who is Tony Smith? The answer is, well, it depends. The former MVP sometimes looks like the greatest shot maker who ever lived, and sometimes looks nothing like that. Marching to the beat of his own drummer, the 22-year-old free spirit is a wild card every time he steps on the court. Yesterday, Trey Burchfield mounted a stunning comeback to win the World Doubles Championship. If he can pull off the unprecedented and win back-to-back titles here today, he would surpass Matt Guy as the winningest player of all time. There's high stakes and high drama here at the World Singles Championship, and by the end of the day, there may be a new player who can claim he is the greatest to ever play the game.
Best block in the game going up against Ethan Walker, who's arguably the best roll bag in the game. What's even crazier is legends say it was Erick Davis who started the roll bag. So we're going to have a full defensive approach, a lot of shaping of shots. The excitement level is going to be high.
Right away, we did see that block by Ethan Walker, and Erick Davis was able to roll right around it. And Erick Davis in control here early here in this first round. Fires that one right down the middle. And Ethan Walker able to bounce that one in. So an early 2 points for Erick Davis. You know, the other dynamic in this, and Ethan Walker's a great player. Young guy out of Sarasota, Florida, 20 years old, ranked in the top 20, second-year pro. But Erick Davis has been here on this stage a lot of all the majors that we had, right? The 4 major tournaments, we saw Erick Davis on a monthly basis. Meanwhile, you get someone like Ethan Walker really on this big stage as a solo player for the first time.
Yeah, and Ethan Walker has shown that he can perform at this level dealing with the pressure. So I don't expect that to be a concern for him today. What might be more of a concern, what we're talking about with board speeds, and we saw it affect some of the other broadcasts like the ladies a couple nights ago, is how much humidity we have in the room, the speed of the bag, and there's Erick Davis highlighting one of his roll bags there, but getting a little geeky. I just measured the humidity before we went into the match. We're seeing the same humidities right now in the room that we did in Florida for our first national broadcast. So expect the speeds to be slow and expect it to promote a lot of the roll bags.
That's how dedicated this man is, ladies and gentlemen. He travels with, what, a humidity detector in your pocket? Not a wallet, not keys, no. He's running around the building checking the humidity levels. I love it. And you're right. I mean, it literally, we've seen the board conditions change almost as the games have gone on sometimes. So pretty crazy to watch. A lot to keep in mind here as we are in our first semifinal. Walker right down the middle. See Erick Davis off to the left a little bit. And Walker able to just sneak that one in on the right side. He'll get a couple of points. We are tied at 2. Well, patience is going to be a big key in this one, and with more on that, let's bring in the third member of our broadcast team, Michelle Thompson. Hey, Mish.
Hey, Jeff, you are right. These are a couple of incredible shot makers, but impatience will be their problem, perhaps. We know that what would help them best is actually to run bags, which is not their typical style. I don't see them doing it, Jeff. I think you're going to see a lot of blocks.
I tend to agree with you, and Anthony, I mean, you know very well, you've followed both these players now for the last couple of years, and that is something that is, you know, a little bit of a trouble spot for them, is sometimes they just get impatient. They try to pull off these crazy shots and they get in trouble. So, you know, even Ethan Walker even told us, hey, I've got to find a way to outlast him today, is really what I need to do.
Yeah, right out of the gate, they're really the only scoring we're seeing are just on some simple mistakes. Little lefts and rights, but expect to see some piles in the middle, and we know Erick Davis, one of the best pushers in the league. He's going to do those miraculous shots, but like you said, with Ethan Walker, staying patient, and he has the ability to run bags at a high rate too, so it could be between these two who's going to implement a different strategy, maybe kind of throw a curveball to the other guy, start running bags, hit some airmail. We'll see if that's a possible strategy as well.
Now a 4-bag train in front of the hole. Erick Davis trying that roll bag. Long way to go with that roll bag. Walker just goes over the whole pile.
Electing to roll versus airmail there.
And the follow by the magician. Oh my gosh, Ethan Walker. Yeah, all right, so much for being nervous on the broadcast court. Wow, impressive round.
Yeah, here's that airmail. Electing to airmail versus roll, rather. And in some cases, when you have bags kind of flowing a little bit deeper, in that case we had 3 bags kind of down to a level 2, it becomes a little bit harder to roll longer lengths. So you'll see players going to the airmail in that case.
Again, Ethan Walker, just 20 years old, second-year pro, 3 titles, having a great season.
The drag bag opportunity might promote an airmail. We're going to get a roll. He could save it, and there's a good example of a roll bag.
A little double clutch, and now Davis fires, and he's able to chip one in.
Now with this bag hanging on the hole, he might roll instead of airmail.
Oh, Ethan Walker almost able to pull those 2 in. What does Erick Davis do here? Nice and easy, lays it on the board, and Walker's bags will just stick there.
So that decision to slick side push costing Walker some points here. Stick side down, that's the blank side, it's back loaded. So you have this front up, and you can kind of see the bag hop and roll over the pile. It requires a good spot, good speed, and enough edge over edge to get over the pile. Good shot there.
Point, Anthony, that was such a good look at that bag. You talk about all the time. They just have to manipulate the bag, backload it just a little bit of an angle, and it doesn't take much. I mean, that had just a little bit of an angle, but still enough to hop and roll.
Especially in the sticky conditions I was talking about. We're almost hitting 60% humidity, so that promotes a lot of that roll. Now, if the boards were playing a little bit faster, it would be more difficult to get those edges to go edge over edge.
Nice collect there for Erick Davis. Walker down the middle, not a whole lot he can do with that bag off to the left.
He wanted to touch Davis coming through on the bull, he didn't get it.
Davis can't grab it. And now Walker stays clean down the middle to wash it out. 1 point game here early. You know, for those of you who watch us on a regular basis, we do have round limited formats, limited to 10 rounds, sometimes 12, but this is first to 21. And just a totally different dynamic. These can become a grind. I mean, we're in round 8 already. And I mean, Anthony, you call a lot of these games. It can easily go 30-plus rounds. We've already seen that this week.
Especially with Erick Davis. And the key to that, if we go back to the beginning, we saw the DPR of .02. That tells me he's winning matches by a point or two, which means you've got these marathons of washes, and then you go all the way to 20-20. So you're getting scores from both sides.
Sit.
Oh, yeah, as soon as he fired that one, he didn't like it. So the first big round, as Erick Davis now is going to take a 6-point lead, so a 5-point round.
Here's the key to this one. This is one of the shots Ethan will not take very often, a slick side cut. So when you talk about all the shots in his back pocket, that's one that he doesn't use very often.
Now the board's just so sticky that he felt like he had to go slick side to try and collect that back. Could he not have stayed on the sticky side?
Yeah, definitely speed was important there. When you're cutting at that, when you're trying to grab that far out, you would need that slick side cut. He would have come up short on the throwback.
Yeah.
Cut.
Called for it and got it.
Double drag here for Davis and airmail coming.
Oh, stays low and goes with the collect.
That was actually a good conservative approach. And it
Walker
paid off.
To the right, yeah.
The conservative approach would be, I can hit my slide shot at a higher rate than that airmail. So I'm gonna take Ethan with me. I don't need, and that's Erick Davis not trying to get all the points at once.
All of a sudden, Erick Davis with a 7-point lead here at our media timeout in Rock Hill.
Yeah, this is where we saw their PPRs kind of coming in, right? That like 9 to mid-9 range. Erick Davis a little bit higher than his average. I don't think we need to take too much from what we're seeing too far. We saw, you know, a couple roll bags just not quite get roll, a little bit left and right. Still early in the match, and we were only talking 9 or 10 rounds. We could see those stats completely change here in the back half of the match.
Quick little 6-0 run here by Erick Davis to take this lead. We've talked earlier about patience, right? Or maybe impatience, as Mish was saying, might be a better way of saying it. And these media timeouts have had a way of kind of interrupting momentum in matches so far this week here in the World Championships. We'll see how both these young players deal with the media timeout situation. Good bag right there by Ethan Walker.
That's so good because it's better there than in. That's going to make the push more difficult for Erick Davis. He makes easy work of it, in for 2.
And he's able to slide it in. So a couple of points makes it 11-6. Well, a lot of strategy behind the scenes, and Misha was able to get a little bit of intel. Sounds like for the next matchup, Tony Smith will be on the court against Trey Birchfield. These guys, Misha, already in the crowd, started to do some scouting.
Yeah, Tony Smith is hoping for an Ethan Walker win, and that's because Tony Smith sees himself in the finals, and if Ethan Walker meets him there, Tony doesn't have to switch bags. But if Erick wins, he does have to switch bags. So watch Tony in the audience hoping for that Ethan Walker win.
Yeah, and Misha, a little pull back the curtain behind the scenes. So what happens is, the reason sometimes they have to switch bags is because the bags are the same color. And really for TV purposes, for everyone at home and for us here in the building, if they're playing with the same color, no one knows what's going on. So they implemented this rule, what, about a year or two ago. So that's why, as Ethan Walker hits a big shot, and now Erick Davis, can he pull some magic out of his hat here like we've seen him do many times? And wow, it hops up, stays on the board, and he leaves 3.
Yeah, this is the shot. Here, slick side to come in to finish off, but it was the shot before that really made the round. What Ethan Walker did is he took Erick Davis's front hole board, that was a scoring board, and he pushed it to the back of the board. We call that a bar of soap. That set up the airmail on bag 4. That shot, that third bag bar of soap is what got him 6 points in that round.
And a 1-point lead now in the match. calmly spins that one in. Erick Davis trying to go right to left. Can't get it. He's going to leave 2 more and 4 more points for Ethan Walker.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, just a couple small mistakes by Erick Davis, and it's Walker who's taken advantage. He took a high-risk shot in the last round on bag 3 that scored him 2 more points. Really, Erick Davis really needing to find his line here, just a little bit right and left.
And Anthony, what did we just talk about with the media timeouts? I mean, what is going on this week in the World Championships? It was 11-4.
That trend is getting a little eerie because it really does come into play. That is a roll bag into a stack, so that sitting on top, it's going to be more difficult for Erick Davis to do anything with that bag.
Rolls around it. Nice bag. Walker, just no fear.
You can't see it, but that bag is still just hanging on the hole there, and then it falls.
Davis is off. He's got to be careful here. Walker hits another airmail.
Davis is stepping back. Something crazy is going to come. Slick side in the hand.
Fires it. He's able to get one in, which, yeah, should be just enough to hang on by 1 point, 20-11.
Ethan Walker showing you, yes, I'm a roll guy, but I also have the airmail as well, hitting multiple airmail coming in clutch. And then with Erick Davis on the other side, anytime you see him step back and implement a step into his throw, you know something's coming in hot and he's going to start blowing up piles.
He had to get one in. He was able to do that.
That bag was on full tilt. That was a full right to left cut from Ethan Walker.
A 16-0 run.
Davis now going to have to go chase. He's going to try and collect this bag off the left. So difficult to do.
Ethan, gives it back.
Big mistake. That was a game bag.
Davis still has to be in. Oh, and he comes up short. And that will end it for Erick Davis. Wow, amazing. Ethan Walker down 11-4 at the media timeout, goes on a 16-0 run and puts this one away to get into the finals. And he's down on the court with Michelle.
Well, what happened during the media timeout? What was going through your head?
I don't know. I was just thinking about all the work I put in and all the practice and all the people that have just helped me got to this place, you know, and I just grinded it out. I got 1 more to go.
Absolutely. I know we talked a lot about maybe having more patience to get to the end. Did that play into this?
A little bit, but I just felt like I was hitting my shots. I hit my shots when I needed to, and that's how I won the game.
What are your thoughts about who you're going to play in the final?
Doesn't matter. Come on.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow, what a performance. 16-0 run, he's into the finals. Coming up next, Trey Burchfield, a chance at another title and to become the greatest of all time. And standing in his way, that man right there, Tony Smith.
I think, what is it, Tony Smith, the oldest guy here in the semifinals at 22? Yeah. Good Lord.
Yeah, no, that was a great moment. And for that guy right there, Trey Birchfield, that world championship was not only another big title, obviously, but it also gave him his 20th career major win, which ties him for first all-time in ACL history with Matt Guy. So a chance here with the win to pass what, you know, everyone else calls the GOAT, Matt Guy. Incredible.
Yeah, I think the key to this game, and we talked about it in the opener, is optimizing the offense and defense. If we look at a Tony Smith, he kind of fell in the ranks from last year, right? He bumped his PPR way up. But he lost on the DPR side. So maybe something going into next season for him to make a little bit of adjustment, where Trey Birchfield really optimized both. PPR going up and DPR going up. So something to keep in mind as these boys come off of Worlds going into next season.
That fourth bag can be so difficult sometimes. We saw Erick Davis miss the slide shot to try and extend his game a moment ago, and Tony Smith, all he had to do was get that bag in for a couple of points, but instead a wash right away. Now Tony Smith, again 22 years old, out of Northeast Connecticut. Again, last year's MVP, #1 player in the world. 4th year pro, 9 career titles. Looking for his first world championship.
This is a bit of redemption for Tony Smith, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward last year, we were in the same position, Jeff. Came out and played Chris Kingsbury. Ended up just getting cooked, 21-6.
And Birchfield, looks like he's trying to roll, but it comes up a little bit short.
That's the advantage of the roll, right? If you miss the roll, not only is he going to be on the board, but he's going to end up in some type of a block position, going to make this push or roll a little bit more difficult for Tony.
Wow, dude. Wow.
He's got options. I don't hate this step out kind of push up this angle here.
Oh, Trey Birchfield blows up the pile and gets 2 to drop.
And that's okay. He's going to take the clip. He sacrificed the bag off the side, but he's sitting 9.
And Tony clips the pile, only gets 1 in as the other one zips off the back of the board. So a big round now for Trey Birchfield as Tony Smith finds himself down 5-0. Well, Mish, any difference with Tony Smith this year from prepping last year's championship and this year?
I think so. I think we have a different Tony Smith. You know, last time he kind of rolled in. He was a little sleepy. He was here just thinking, I'm going to do my thing, and it didn't work for him. But this time we saw him show up an hour and a half early, ready to warm up. I think he was actually the first one down here. And I think he was taking it a little bit of a different, serious type of game. I don't know.
Well, I mean, he is a mature 22-year-old now.
Yeah, he's so old.
Unreal.
Birchfield's lane is messed up. Tony Smith has an open right side. Another missed shot. That's 3 or 4 missed shots for Tony Smith out of the gate. It takes me back to last year again in this same position.
Nice shot, rolls it in over the pile.
That's a good sign. He figured out the speed. He's getting the hop he needs. Big push coming for Birch.
Ooh, missed everything. Yeah, you can just hear Trey and his mic saying missed it.
Tony's going to be tempted by the airmail and one on the back. He's going to play it safe on the roll, but he did have that back bag, Jeff. Sometimes when your opponent's got a back hole, you're tempted by that airmail to and one. Let's watch this one in slow. You're going to actually see the left side of the bag lift. There it is, and it works its way over the block. Such a good shot.
Oh, no.
5-3, but didn't like that first bag.
Tony chasing, this is difficult. Real deep collect. Oh, he's so good at that.
I feel like that's what we saw Tony Smith do during all the qualifying. I don't know what you call it as far as the technical term was, but when I was walking around, to me, he was saving bags all day. Just like that. A bag that you think might be out of play, saves it, brings it back in, and then scores. And that's going to be a wash to make it 5-3.
Yeah, we call that a reverse cut. Essentially inside arm collect off the left. Tony Smith, Gavin Connell, some of the best in the league at pulling off that shot. And it's a rescue shot. You know, you're typically trying to go and erase a mistake, and it really comes into play in matches.
Trey Birchfield there on the right in the black jersey, 21 years old, out of Carrollton, Ohio. 6th year ACL pro. And again, tied for first on the ACL all-time wins list with 20. Won his first title at the age of 15 here in this league. Just misses off to the right. Just like that, Tony Smith has tied this up at 5.
That's kind of what I expected to see the whole match. All bags were either in the hole or hole high. In the previous match, these guys were trying to block. They were trying to leave something short of the hole. These guys are going to be running bags, and that's what's part of that hybrid game we were talking about. I'm going to run bags until someone makes some mistakes or throws a block. Then I'm going to implement my shaping of shot strategy. And that's what makes Birchfield so good, is when he runs bags, he runs them at a controlled speed. If he comes up short, he takes that miss because it's an unintentional block that works in his favor.
All right, can Tony save another bag? He's able to turn it. Trey's on that right edge now, should be able to collect that. Can Tony grab this one here? And he does it again. It totally saved that bag on the left. now Birchfield able to just grab his bag and pull it in. Nice hard double 4-bagger. Nice round.
Yeah, the key to that fourth bag from Tony Smith was the precision of staying left. He found the hole, got the collect, but then left Birchfield sitting out right. That makes that collect for Birchfield a little bit more difficult on 4.
See, that's kind of the cat and mouse game that's going on now with these players. Again, we've talked about offense and defense. Cornhole really has become as much a defensive sport as an offensive sport, but it comes with a little bit of caution. When you lay a block, you have to remember you've got to lay a block that you can also score with, right? So that's kind of the back and forth.
Yeah, real important when you're thinking block. You are not interested at leaving a block super short of the hole. Everything needs to be up in the hole, if not like a corner, kind of something falling into the hole, because like you said, you eventually have to go get it. Almost an and one off the back for Tony Smith.
Oh, will Tony go for it again? And the sport and one is when you slam in an airmail and knock off another opponent's bag. Nope, goes for the roll this time and hops it in. 2 great shots by Tony. Birchfield goes hard at the pile. Looks like he was able to just get one to fall. So it's going to end up being a nice plus round for Tony Smith and a 9-5 lead.
Here's that roll from Tony. Stick side down. You see how the front is lifted up? Watch as it hits the ground. You get this tumbling effect right over the top. Beautiful slow-mo. Why that roll bag was important is Birchfield was sitting on the hole. Tony Smith did not want to collect him on an air bell. That's why he elected to roll there.
Well, Tony now on a 9-0 run. This was a 5-0 lead early for Birchfield. That one will go. That does. 4th bag. Seen a little bit of issues on 4th bag, but no problem that time.
Yeah, you nailed it, Jeff. Seeing a little bit of issues on 4th bags, and that's why we're not seeing really high 4-bagger percent. Again, comparing back to the first game, we would typically see 30, 35% 4-baggers. With guys like this playing a more hybrid game, we're going to get north of 50, sometimes into the 70% 4-baggers.
So what's an elite level percentage if you're a pro level player? What's your 4-bagger percentage?
I mean, anything above 50%. You can imagine every other round you're throwing 4-baggers, which is insane. On the high, like a guy like Matt Guy, who plays the most aggressive offensive game, he'll dip into the 70s sometimes.
Tony Smith able to collect them all. And he's in for his 4-bagger. And that one's good. What about airmail percentage? How high of a percentage are these guys at this level?
Yeah, so we talk about like a Jimmy McGuffin in practice. I think he's a good example. This is a guy that can hit 98 out of 100 airmail in practice. But when you get into the game, you got to think about the pressure. You also have to think that you're not throwing airmail every time. You might go with a block, a slide, then an airmail, which does affect it. But even at this level, again, a high guy like Matt Guy, 60, 70% in match is really high. I would say the pro average isn't going to be quite 50%. You might be like 30, 40% at a pro average.
Still a 50% from almost 30 feet away?
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah.
For your good airmail guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Eric Davis won our first semifinal, or rather Ethan Walker won our first semifinal with a comeback win over Eric Davis. So the winner here will play the youngster from Florida for the championship, the Singles World Championship. Stays 9-5.
So definitely seeing a little bit of swing here at the beginning of the match. We were kind of getting a little dirty. There was some stuff short, unintentional, but now you can see the running of bags and looking at the stats here. Birchfield throwing 50% 4-baggers. Tony Smith at 60% right now.
Oh, good looking bag. Just that cut roll around Birchfield's block. Nice replacement bag there for Birchfield. Again replaces it. That is such a tough shot. He's making it look easy. Can Birchfield sneak around this? He does. What a huge shot. That was an incredible round by Birchfield.
Yeah, here's that last shot. It's gonna lean right. So the right side of the bag is gonna hit first, and watch, that makes the left side bounce. You're gonna get impact here. Actually, in this case, he didn't get much bounce. That is perfect speed control. Any faster, he would have flown the hole. Any shorter, he'd have been short, stopping basically hole level, getting him those 2 points.
And you know, that was a great shot. His replacement bags in that round, I thought were just perfect, right? I mean, to be able to, you've got a bag right in front of the hole, to hit your bag, knock it in, and then leave another one in front, made it really difficult for Tony. That was a good round for Trey.
And that's another piece of this hybrid game we were talking about. Those offensive guys would just be pushing through everything. They want to maximize offense, but at the same time, you're taking your opponent with you. In Trey's situation, better there than in was the call, and he's able to pull that off.
And Tony Smith goes down the middle. So Tony will tack on 2 more and take a 4-point lead here at our media timeout from Rock Hill. Again, Tony Smith on top, 11-7.
Get the 10 pluses in the hybrid, and Tony Smith with a 10-5. This is how he made it through bracket play, led his bracket in every statistical category, PPR, DPR, 4-bagger percent. The bracket version of Tony Smith showing up right now on the world's court.
This one's been going back and forth. Birchfield jumped out to a 5-0 run. Tony Smith had a 9-0 run. Now 4-point game.
Birchfield could roll, leave that block in play, or back block to buy the book. He's going up, Jeff. That's a high-risk shot.
Nothing but net. That was clean. Third bag goes in behind the pile.
Interesting, he elected to back. Nothing changed. Nothing changed for him, but he elected to back block on that one.
Yes, Tony Smith cuts it around. Man, the level these guys are playing at right now is ridiculous. Birchfield now is going to try and roll. That's an awfully tall pile to roll over. They get stuck on top.
We got all 3 options there out of Birch when you have a level 1 block. He went airmail first, which kind of surprised me a little bit. Then he went back block, and then he went roll. So we got all 3 versions on the same level 1 block.
Incredible. You know, when this game started to evolve a couple years ago, we were kind of equating them to like major league pitchers, right? Who have 4 or 5 different pitches. And that's what we're looking at nowadays. Amazing.
Hard to see on your screen, but Tony Smith with a drastic cutback. It was on edge. He was trying to move right to left to collect just like that. Basically, Tony Smith's bag did this to collect there. Since it's final bag, we're probably going to get an airmail here out of Tony Smith. Just kind of hammer this pile right here.
Yep, you are right. He does. Hits the pile, puts 2 in.
Slick side in the hand. Birchfield coming through with speed to collect.
Oh, wow. Big shot executed perfectly by Trey Birchfield. He's going to get 2 points as he was able to collect the whole pile.
Here's that shot again, slick side. That's the logo side down, so it's going to have the sublimation there. Enough speed, collects everything. Really, Tony Smith only giving up points from luck. I mean, he hit the spot with that airmail. It just kind of, that pile just kicked him out to the right.
Talked earlier about round limited. I mean, that's why this 1st to 21 game is great, right? I mean, we're at round 15 already and only halfway through. Embrace the grind.
That speed doubled for Tony Smith. He came in really hot to try and break up the pile.
That one's in. Bag split.
That's kind of back-to-back bad luck. Again, Tony Smith hitting his mark on the slick side. Everything just kind of jammed and then kicked that slide bag. It was center, kicked it out to the left. That's twice. Tony Smith just had some bad breaks.
You know, it's amazing. This is already a completely different Tony Smith than what we saw last year, right? Mish was talking about earlier. Showed up about 45 minutes beforehand last year. And, you know, was very loose. Completely different mindset this year. Showed up 90 minutes before the broadcast and was out there throwing bags. Just seemed to be different mindset. And cleans it up on that last bag. It will stay 11-9. Tony Smith started playing cornhole at the age of 4. He's also a great golfer. Trey Birchfield has grown up before our eyes. Again, 21 years old. Been playing for 6 years now as an ACL pro. First time we met him, he was, what, 15 years old, and he's cutting grass in the summertime to try and make some extra money, and still in high school. And now a multiple-time world champion.
That was disgusting how Tony Smith worked everything up the left, leaving Birchfield's block there.
Oh man, these guys are locked in. I mean, what are the PPRs now? I feel like there's a lot of bags going in all of a sudden.
Yeah, we're still staying north of 10. We had those couple rounds where Tony hit the airmail, had a bad luck on the push. We're actually both north of 10.
Had some back and forth early, but now stuck in a 2-point game. And Birchfield, first one in. Ooh, that one hits the dead spot of the board. But again, this is what Tony's been doing all week, is just saving bags.
This will change the whole dynamic of the round. You're seeing Birchfield having to use the box. He's going to do the full step out. Big push for Tony Smith.
I mean, Anthony, are you kidding me with this?
We talked about him rescuing bags. He's able to inside arm collect off the left. Now he can push a level 4 block, which is so difficult. Your line has to be perfect. Your speed has to be perfect to pull that off.
Ooh, that one, question mark. We'll see what happens on the last bag here by Tony. That bag's not going anywhere, so Tony Smith, a couple more points.
Here's that shot. He's going to come in hot right behind the bag. That is so difficult to do. He made it look easy, Jeff. Me and you could line up 20 of those and fire all of them off the back.
Rescuing bags, yes, that's what he is incredible at doing. Taking a bag that seemingly seems out of play and bringing it right back in.
And this is a case where you don't rescue. I don't like him going and chasing this bag. It's really too far out of play. Him staying middle of the board tells me he's not going to go try and rescue.
Did he try it there, though?
No, he missed his mark right. He was good with laying a level 1. Now he has to go rescue that front bag. Now the difference is he has this bumper in the back, so he's going to come through with speed, and there it is, and collect front.
Oh, and Birchfield helps him out. So those bags ended up being a blocker, basically. And now Tony cleans it up down the middle. Birchfield's got to be in to wash it out, and he is. So crafty little round there by Tony Smith.
Yeah, Birchfield getting a taste of what Smith had happen to him early. His line was good. He was in the push position, but everything clogging just kind of deflected that bag 4 out to the left.
Well, behind the scenes, these world championships are so difficult. You are getting 250 plus of the world's best players. 4 huge brackets. It's basically like 4 NCAA tournaments all going out at the same time. To get all the way down to a bracket final, you get down to our Final-4. Double elimination. I mean, there are some really great players whose day has come to an end at 1 and 2. It's so hard. Oh, nice bag by Tony.
Birchfield going for the airmail because he's in the drag position. Smith going for the roll because he's the back block position.
one's in. I feel like, Anthony, the board conditions are like ideal. I mean, they're able to do everything right now. They can collect, they can slide, they can roll.
Those are facts. The board conditions are definitely ideal.
Yeah.
And if you talk about fatigue at this point, you know, round 21, we're really only in the middle scoring range of the match. This is where you see 40-round matches. I think the decision to go to a hybrid-style game is in favor of Tony Smith right now. If we go to last year, he threw this, we were talking about the stickiest, grindiest bag. He basically had to throw a fastball every time. Now, he can kind of take breaks. He has a faster model bag. He doesn't have to work as hard to get the bag to the hole.
Trey Birchfield, I was just thinking to myself that bag might have been a little bit too far low and right, opposite lane side, and somehow he was able to go all the way right to left and bring it in. I just don't know how you do that from almost 30 feet away. This is where the physics, I guess, right? And the way you manipulate the bags is just so important, because you can't just throw it and get it in. You've got to do something with the bag to get that right to left motion and collect it, and that ends up being a big round for Birchfield. Wow.
Yeah, and those slower speeds you were talking about are so critical to that. You do not get those shaping of shots when the boards are fast.
I mean, it really looked like it was going to be 15-9, right? I mean, and then Birchfield able to rescue that bag and makes it a 2-point game.
Birchfield looking to touch that coming through. He missed it. He missed what we call a bully, where you kind of push that out of the way. And then Smith's able to collect. So that was a miss for Birchfield.
Well, Birchfield tried to block him with that third bag, couldn't do it. Tony erased it, goes in with his fourth. Stays 13-11. One more quick little stat for you, again, behind the scenes. Let's take a look at the Rock Hill Sports and Events Center. So behind the scenes, there are hundreds of boards, almost 2,000 players. We talked about the big tournament that took place just to get here. 600 matches to get through, and over 100,000 bags that were thrown. I mean, it is an absolute grind to get down to the Final Four. Almost $1 million in prize money to be awarded here over this 10-day stretch. And the last one misses off to the right. So Birchfield will tack on 2. We're tied at 13. Is there much strategy going on right now? I mean, I'm seeing so many bags go in, or is it more, you know, maybe trying to lay a, you know, a short block up against the hole, maybe kind of, it seems like a lot of back and forth, but pretty conservative so far.
I honestly don't think there's any intentional blocks going on at all in this game.
Yeah.
These guys are running bags. Now, like we were talking about, the board speeds are playing a little slower. They're letting the blocks happen on their own, and when they happen, then they play off of that, and we see them implement that hybrid game. But I don't see any intentional blocks right now. Intentional back blocks, yes, better there than ins, but not an open board block.
Third bag for Tony, no problem. I love Tony's second bag and the spin that he had on it to be able to grab his bag in that lower left-hand corner and bring it in. You've talked about that, just the way that the bag spins, depending on which side you hit your bag on the board. Sometimes it can spin off it, sometimes it grabs it and brings it into the hole. That was a great example by Tony.
Yeah, these boys are able to steer the bag. So if you kind of feel yourself like in an airplane, they can go wings left low or wings right low. They're able to basically steer that way, and that's where they get to left to right and right to left cuts, as well as some of those hot bags that we see.
A little bit higher degree of difficulty here for Tony as it's opposite lane side. Ooh, and he missed it trying to clip it, and it goes too deep. Birchfield trying to coax that one in.
Another one better there than in. That's perfect speed control.
Oh, wow. Tony in trouble now with 3 outside the hole. Wide open shot here for Birchfield. He's going to go down the middle. And Tony, oh my gosh, misses another one off the side. It's going to be an 8-point round, and actually it's over. 8 points, and quickly it comes to an end as Birchfield will get into the finals. Oh my goodness. Yes, I agree. Back and forth. And it comes to an end in one round. Let's go down to the court with Michelle.
Bit of a shocking ending there, Trey, but how are you able to stay focused with the stakes being so high for you specifically?
I'm just trying to play my game. I know everyone in the finals is good throwers, and I just got to keep playing my game like I have been all week, and hopefully I can get it done this next game.
So do you stay offensive with Ethan Walker?
Yes, definitely. The final 3 players, including me, the 3 other players were 3 of the top best roll baggers, sticky side throwers in the game, and me, I just like to slide bags in the hole. So I'm just going to try to play offense and put every bag I can in the hole.
Congratulations.
Wow, Trey Birchfield actually trailed early. That guy, Mark Richards, Jeremiah Ellis, we just talked about him. He was so good at the beginning of the season, we called him the boogeyman. I mean, because he was scary. I mean, scary good. No one wanted to play him. But all those names we just mentioned, none of them were able to get into this Final Four. So difficult. All right, away we go for our 2024 Singles World Championship. Ethan Walker. Again, having a great year so far. He does have 3 titles. He's won singles and doubles at the open level, won another singles open at the last one of the year, but no major titles, no world championships. What a run this has been for the youngster from Florida. And meanwhile, for Trey Birchfield, you know the story. We've been talking about it all weekend. His name has been the most prominent. A chance to win another world title and a chance to now pass Matt Guy as the all-time winningest player in ACL history. Matt Guy all season long has just been hanging on to 20. No one was able to tie him. And now Birchfield has tied him and maybe a chance to pass him here this afternoon.
There's the level 2 block. That's how Ethan Walker's going to come into this one. This is where we get the conflicting styles. We've been talking about the defense and offense. Here is where Walker implements his high-level defensive play and then scoring off of traffic. And then Trey Burchfield said has a good mix of everything. He's going to be looking to run bags offensively and then switch to shaping his shots and defense when he needs it.
Walker angles his bag, cuts it in. Oh, and Birchfield able to just grab that corner and sink it.
Beautiful use of the slick side. Working the left side of the hole, collecting off the left. So difficult when you're going cross hole. You're right side of the board, but then you're going across hole left to pull everything into the hole on the right side. So difficult.
So I'm assuming that you're expecting a much different game than what we saw back in the semifinals then? I feel like we saw Tony and Trey throw a lot of bags in. And I'm just not sure Ethan wants to do that.
Yeah, Walker's going to be looking to kill that PPR.
Yeah.
He's going to say, I'm going to take the 10-5 or 10-6 you threw in the previous round.
Yeah.
I want to pull that down to like a 9-7, 9-6, and then I'm going to try and beat you off of traffic.
Yeah, I'm going to take your stat line and crush it. Oh, jumps over the bags, puts it in. Incredible shot by Ethan Walker.
When we say it's scoring in traffic, this is exactly what it is. Again, backloaded. That front nose needs to be up. Watch on impact. You're going to get this kind of momentum shift over shift or roll over roll. And scoring in traffic over 2 of Trey Birchfield's blockers. That's how Ethan Walker's going to take down this championship title.
Walker takes the lead 6-2. Well, Mish, how was Ethan feeling before he came out here for the championship?
I actually talked to him during the semifinals and asked if he had a preference for who he would meet in the finals. He said no. And I said, what if you go against Trey and he runs bags? He said, I can run bags. So he didn't seem concerned at all about that offensive style.
We'll see. You know, back in the bracket finals is interesting. We talked about some of the big names not here, right? Matt Guy, Jamie Graham, Mark Richards, Jeremiah Ellis. Oh, Birchfield leaves one right in front of the hole, so that's going to be 2 more for Walker. And, oh, actually, I forgot. He had one off the back of the board, so actually making a point for Birchfield. So 6-3 for Ethan Walker. But it got down to a bracket final with Ethan Walker and Jamie Graham. And Ethan Walker actually had the king seat, so Jamie was going to have to win twice. And I saw Ethan just before he went out. And somebody was asking, hey, do you know when you're going to be done here? Just some fan. And he's like, I'm ending this right now. So, I mean, and again, going up against Jamie Graham, he's like, I'm not playing game 2. We're doing this right now. Sure enough, beat Jamie in that first game, and it was over. Won the bracket final, and away you went into the Final Four. I mean, he's really playing with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, talking to Jamie Graham coming off that match, he basically was like, I don't want anything to do with his rolls and his cuts and his block game. So Jamie Graham went hyper aggressive on the airmails, and that was the difference in the match.
Yeah.
Walker laid the blocks, and Graham wasn't hitting the airmail.
That time he just hits a laser at the pile. Looked like he went 2 for 1 to earn the wash. It'll stay 6-3. Well, again, for Trey Birchfield, not only would a win here make him #1 on the all-time wins list, but it would also give him his 4th world championship. He's the only player right now with 3, has the singles and 2 doubles.
Walker trying to cut from right to left to collect. We basically saw the blank side of the bag facing us on the left. So that thing was tilted way low right. Here comes a roll.
Gosh. The way he's been executing that roll bag today has just been such a high level.
Perfect back block.
Yeah, Trey goes right in behind it, make it a little bit more difficult. Will he do the same thing? Angles it, tried to fire it in with that roll back, a little bit more speed, and it deflects off to the left.
So I think a good choice. He was choosing not to airmail because Birchfield actually rolled into a stack. So instead of back blocking, he rolled on top of that front bag, preventing a drag, which I think promoted the roll from Ethan versus the airmail.
Birchfield right back in this 1-point game. Well, you and Michelle and I talked back in the first semifinal about patience. And that is going to be big in this matchup as well.
Birchfield going for the bully, kind of pushing out. He was a little right on his mark, but that could end up getting collected. I like that better there than for Walker. We could see this jam. There's a lot of hole there for an airmail. He's taking a look at how much I have to work with.
Wow, just absolutely fired one at the pile.
He was trying to borrow soap or push Birchfield to the back of the hole. And if we had some miles per hour on this, I think that would have been the fastest bag that we've seen throw tonight. That thing came in hot.
Maybe all weekend. So a lot of cameras here, right? And there's a cameraman who's sitting courtside, and it's his responsibility to try and catch the bag flight. I don't know how yeah, good luck on that one, right? and he's really good too. I'm not sure anybody can catch that. That was, I mean, just gas across the court. I'm not sure it was more than 2 feet off the ground.
A little whiplash on the neck trying to swing it across.
The cameras were heavy too.
Birchfield going to get this bag. He's going to leave this lane here for Walker. He's going to be able to possibly work his way up and get 2. Might kind of roll into it a little bit. Oh, you heard it right out of his voice, Jeff.
Please fall.
And Birchfield wanting more. He's wanting that bag to drop.
Here's slick side in the hand. That's the choice to work through the traffic. Simply left on his mark. That's all it was. He was way too left. Lucky that he didn't push Birch in.
Birchfield now with the lead. It was 6-2. So a run now by Birchfield to take a 2-point lead. Side-by-side action now.
And that puts a block in each player's lane. Oh my gosh.
How do you do that? He's got Walker on his side. That's good bag there though by Ethan to get his back in play. Birchfield again able to sneak around it. Birchfield might have helped Ethan out a little bit right there, and he does. So, wow, I mean, I feel like we've been watching Trey do this quite a bit this afternoon. Somehow moving his bag right to left and still being able to collect.
Yeah, what was cool about that is we got to see the advantage of a cut and a reverse cut at the same time. Both players able to go and rescue their bags, but because they were opposite sides, Birchfield had to use a right to left cut to get his bag. Walker having to use a left to right reverse cut to get his bag.
2-point game for the singles world championship. Short left, and that's on his own side. Easy for Birchfield to get around it.
He's going to need that reverse cut again to collect off the left.
And couldn't quite get it to go. And again, we talked earlier about Tony Smith, his ability to rescue bags. Walker trying to do something similar, just couldn't quite get them both in, and now a 4-point lead for Trey. Again, Birchfield already your 2024 doubles world champion. Won it yesterday with Adam Hissner. Ooh, good V block there by Ethan Walker.
Let's see if we get a back block. We're going to get a roll out of Birchfield. That's beautiful. That actually takes over the block position. He has what we call hold control, a roll from Walker.
Birchfield, a lot of angle on that bag, comes up short. Oh, and Walker's off to the left. You could just hear him.
Yeah, the key to that is that stopped the block or the push here from Birch. Now he has kind of this lane here. He might roll over this pile, and that's what we're gonna get, and he almost gets it.
Walker getting aggressive. Looked like maybe trying to just catch that back half of the hole, but fires it off the back. Another big round for Birchfield, and a 12-0 run for Trey Birchfield. He's got the lead here at the media timeout. Again, just 21 years old and already making history here in the sport.
Right now.
I'm sure you had a few matches against some of those past champions. All right, we get into Miller's Ale House prime time here after the timeout, and this is definitely prime time for a comeback here for Ethan Walker. Now down 14-6. If you're just tuning in, it was Walker who jumped out to a 6-2 lead. So a big run right now by Trey Birchfield.
Really the difference in the game, if we talk about, what does Walker need to do to turn this thing around? Really the only difference, his slick side bag's not working too well. He's had 2 off the back and to the left. He's able to create the traffic, but just not scoring in traffic, kind of rolling a little bit left, a little bit missing on the airmail when he needed it. So I think he needs to have the post-block cleanup game turn around for him here.
Walker, that's difficult. It looked like Trey had the advantage with a bunch of bags around the hole, but then Walker goes right on top. So what's Trey looking at here now?
He's thinking airmail right out of the gate. Now, am I going to bounce off the back? How much room do I have? Am I going to clog? I think this is a clear airmail. There's just too much opportunity for good stuff to happen. And if he misses, he's still basically surrounding the hole. So I think he's pretty safe there, but I think we're going to get an airmail.
Would you ever think about doing some sort of like combo shot like in pool? Or is it just too difficult?
Heavy, too much weight. There's 4 pounds of bags there.
Got one in. Yeah, each bag roughly weighs a pound. Oh, Walker trying to sneak it in. Couldn't do it. Gets a point though, 14-7.
Yeah, roll bag out of Walker to try and just slip in, almost coin slot. We call it coin slot. Take a square bag and stick it into a rectangle hole. Walker has the ability to do crazy things like that.
So that combo type of shot where your opponent's bag's in front, you've got 2 close to the hole, just tough to do, right? Just too much weight.
In that case, yeah, a lot of weight. I mean, Birch would have to, you almost need Erick Davis's pitch, one of those few players that can blow up piles.
Right. Nice bag by Walker.
Hey, we were talking about he needs to get the slick side working. That was a slick side, cleaning up everything around the hole. That's a good sign for Walker.
Come on, boy. Come on.
He's okay with that because he laid on the blocker.
Birchfield clean
Right now,
hits
come
it on that last bag. But still, Walker's going to pick up a couple of more points. And after the media timeout, little run here to make it 14-9.
So the subtlety in that, if Walker just back blocked, Birchfield could have drug his bag on the airmail. Instead, Walker rolled into a stack, so he's putting weight on that blocker, and then Birchfield's not able to pull it on the airmail. Saved him 2 points.
All right, so now here is the scenario where Walker tried to block with that first one, missed it right. Birchfield, nice bag. Takes them both in. Yeah, Walker's just leaving it. And Trey had to try and go around it, couldn't do it. So just enough in his way to deflect him.
We haven't gotten a lot of mistakes out of Birchfield this game. That was an open board miss with a bumper on the right.
Again, it was 6-2 early for the young Ethan Walker.
Birchfield wants to touch this coming through. Let's see if he can touch that. He rotates it a little bit. Full step out for Walker. He's looking to kind of come in and collect here on a cut bag.
Birchfield a 12-0 run, but now Walker trying to steal it back.
Does that bait Birchfield into the airmail, or does he play it safe and lay and get 3 points?
Oh, wow, too short. Hits the pile and knocks in one of Walker's bags.
He was baited. It's tough to lay off those. That's a lot of hole back there. Birchfield's feeling hot. He shot the airmail. That would have been a bit of a dagger.
Bags are split now on either side. A little bit of work to do. Third bag. Collects them all. Oh, look like, was Trey getting aggressive? Trying to clip that?
He went to go drag that bag. That's going to be a 4 spot for Walker.
Right now. Come on.
A huge round for Ethan Walker. Make it 15-13.
So 2 airmail, Jeff, really turning this around. He was baited on the airmail going the other side, knocked Walker in.
Come on.
Went for the open board airmail drag, missed it.
And now you're starting to see the emotion come out of Ethan Walker. Emotional player, gets super fired up. He has been so within himself today, but starting to show it now.
Ethan has shown he's collected this. He's going slick. He's going to collect off the left.
Ooh.
Good bag, Trey.
And Birchfield is down the middle, so he will add to his lead after a run by Ethan Walker. 18-13, and now danger zone here for Walker.
Never missed that. Come on.
You can hear him. He said he never missed it. That's the 3rd time he's gone slick side, trying to collect off the left and ended up off the back. That's 9 points. That's really the difference in the match right now.
Trey Birchfield is 3 points away from becoming the ACL's all-time winningest player and winning his 4th World Championship. Aggressive shot. Walker hammers it.
We're going to get all airmails to finish this off. Actually, Birchfield playing it safe. That opens up the airmail for Walker. Got to hit him, boy.
Rims another one in.
Way to finish.
Does he go for it again? A chance to get a couple points? And he just gets it in.
I love the conservative play from Birchfield. He took a couple shots just playing it safe, cutting around instead of airmailing. That's going to leave 1 point on the board. Walker having to hit the airmail just to squeeze out a couple points.
Rattles it in to make it 18-15. Birchfield right through it. Another one in front of the hole.
Perfect lane side. That is right in Birch's lane. Look for him to probably leave a block right about here.
Sit.
Oh, and again, too hard. It goes off the back, and be careful here. 3 points is all Birchfield needs. That's a critical bag off the back. Oh, and a big shot. Still, though, this is in for the win.
Not a baby, Trey.
Down the middle! And Trey Burchfield pulls off the sweep here in Rock Hill, winning the singles and doubles world championships.
Trey Birchfield navigating one of the best dirty bags in the game from Walker. He stayed patient. He hit the shots he needed to. Congrats, champ.
Well, our Bush's bag of the day right here. Game winner, world championship winner, right down the middle for his 4th world championship, and now he stands alone. #1 on the all-time wins list in the ACL. What a performance. And let's go down to the court with Michelle.
After the media timeout, it seemed like Ethan was going to maybe make a run. How did you keep your composure there?
I just stayed the same all weekend. I was trying to throw every bag I could in the hole, and evidently I had success at doing that this weekend.
What does it mean to now be the all-time winningest player?
It feels amazing, and I feel like I'm the best right now. Nobody can beat me.
Congratulations, Trey.
Anthony, I'm not sure anyone's going to disagree with that.
Yeah, like I was saying, man, Trey Birchfield, it is so difficult to navigate a game like Walker's. He stayed patient. The hybrid game really coming into play. He used every shot in the book, the rolls, the cuts, the slick side, the airmail, showing us how the game should be played in 2024.
Yeah, we talked in the open, just like in other sports, there's offense, there's defense, but when you're good at both, you're a champion. And that's exactly what we saw all week out of Trey Birchfield. Wow, what a championship here in Rock Hill. That'll wrap things up for Anthony Ione, Michelle Thompson,